Oh, morning, folks. Yeah, we were just out getting new tires put out on a car. So I'm out here bumming around the parking lot to kill time. Well, I'm in a car lot, if you can't tell. Hang on. Yeah, here we are. We're just a couple weeks now from the premiere of Series 12. People fussing about Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. Now, I saw it last night. And here's the thing. Sure, there are a few bits here and there you could nitpick on and go crazy with, but given the mess, and I'm talking the intolerable, piled up, plot tangled killer mess that Rian Johnson left them with after Last Jedi, they really pulled it off. They did a really good job bringing Rise of Skywalker in there and tying everything off together. Now, someone, well, I think it was Beef said something about, Palpatine was brought in as a Hail Mary. But the thing is, it worked. And I think the original plan was, I don't think Snoke was supposed to be the big bad villain anyway. I think he was supposed to last into the third movie, and Johnson screwed that up. At least that's my theory. Now, a lot of people have been going on about somebody had it right. And I go, well, yeah, that means they got a hold of a screener copy, because from what I heard, they described way too many things way too accurately. Which means now you've got a multi-billion-dollar motion picture studio are going to have their eyes on you. And I can tell you this much. If I was that guy, I would really, really be sweating. Because I don't care how many levels of anonymity he's buried under. He's going to be really, really watched. And these guys have corporate lawyers that will chew amateur YouTubers to pieces like they were piranha in a tank. So all I can tell them is this: I hope you enjoyed it while it lasts, because if you keep screwing over Disney, the mouse will eat you. But, all right, let's do a little walkabout here. Yeah, it's about 30 degrees out here. Feels like 25. A little bit of wind chill going on. I was just looking at an Explorer over there, but it has 95,000 miles on it. And I'm like, I took a big risk getting a BMW with 70,000 miles on it. I'm just too paranoid once a car gets over that many miles, because I've owned high mileage cars before. They always start falling apart on you. But okay, let's talk about Series 12. Now, as you all know, there was a press preview or press screening of Spyfall. And the weird part is, I'm not seeing any reviews. Now, I know somebody's been critiqued for their method of trying to find out if it was any good or not. But the thing is, I don't go digging around for other people's stuff. If they're going to post it, they're going to post it. Okay, we're on our way over to the other lot here, because we have to go see a familiar landmark. And well, a couple familiar landmarks. Okay. Yeah, it is cold out here. Not as cold as it was the other day when it was 1. Well, it was supposed to be 20 degrees, but it felt like 1. All right, here we go. We're going down the aisle here. Let's see. I looked at this one. That's a Jeep Compass. All right, here we go. So, a lot of people are concerned that with this being Jodie's second series, that they're gonna go back to the old things. And the thing is, I looked at that one too, Jeep Grand Cherokee. But the thing is, when you're starting out, they wanted to clean the slate. They wanted to leave it open for kids and all that to come in, because they're trying to get new fans in, and a lot of the old fans just don't get it. When you're starting a whole new regime and you're coming in, and last season's average rating was 5.5 million, you got to do something radical. Now, here we go. We're at the landmark now. If that car looks a little familiar, that's my BMW I traded in. And the funniest thing is, I guess they've already had... Yeah, I liked it. I had no problems with it. But check this out. They're never going to get that thing off there. How many of you saw that TARDIS thing? Hang on, let's do it again. There's a fellow on eBay, and I'll have to remember to post the link to his eBay channel, who sells these. And it looks just like it belongs on the car. It says TARDIS Chameleon Edition. I've already got one for the Escape. I just haven't put it on yet because of the cold weather. And they're only like 10 bucks. And when you put that thing on there, it's on there. He uses the same type of, what do you call it, adhesive they use in the factories for putting on your car labels and shit. So it's on there for good. So whoever buys this car, I don't know how many, I love that car to death, but I had to trade down. I went to an Escape because, you know, lower payments and such, but I'll miss this car to death. It was really, really fun to drive. And then they got Lala still here. Lala went through a lot, apparently. I don't know how many of you remember Lala. I named her after Lala Ward. But they got a damn good price on her. Hang on, let's take a look at Lala here. Yeah, I used to own that 2003 Jaguar. Was a lovely, lovely car to drive. 4.2 liter V8 supercharged, about 400 plus horsepower under the hood. That thing used to really tear ass. And so did my BMW, because even though this has a smaller engine, well, it's not my BMW anymore. It's up for sale now. I don't know if you remember here, guys. I never really I used to call her Jody, but it just didn't seem to fit. But, oh yeah. That Suburban looks like a hearse. It does, look at it. It looks like a four-wheel drive hearse, don't it? Oh. But yeah, how many here did, someone just said they saw Rise of Skywalker. How many here actually saw it? The worst snow actually was when we first got down here. I actually had to drag the snowblower out that winter like 2 or 3 times. But since then, we haven't had a whole lot. You see, there's snow on the ground now, but it hasn't really accumulated to the point I've had to, get out there and snowblow it. So, if you have any opinions about Rise of Skywalker, feel free to leave them in the comment box. Like I said, I enjoyed the movie. I really liked it. Like I said, considering the amount of damage Rian Johnson did in that second movie, they really pulled it out. They really put it back together. Really powerful performances from everybody. Plus, how many here agree with me on this point? They made Finn useful. One of my big complaints about the new trilogy, up at least till the end of the second movie, was to me, Finn was a completely useless character. So is that new when they introduced Rose. I don't know what she was in there for. She didn't really do much in the third movie. I ain't going to give you no spoilers. But the thing is, they put him on that long plot to nowhere in the second movie, which was just a total waste of time. But in this movie, he was actually useful. They padded out his character quite a bit. They made him more likable. They made him more functional. So I have to say that much. They made Finn useful. And also they gave him some nifty abilities, but I ain't going to give you any spoilers on that. Turns out there's a lot more to Finn and his people. And if you're a fan of the role-playing game, 2 words: Force Adept. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, I really enjoyed that final chapter. I don't know why it's so divisive, except for the people who are going to walk into it and not like it. Like Midnight's Edge. I'm not kidding. There's nothing they can put on the screen for some people that is satisfactory anymore. And it's what really disturbs me is when a half-baked, half-wit website like Rotten Frickin' Tomatoes suddenly becomes the authority on fandoms. Where the hell was Rotten Tomatoes when Star Wars was originally out? Nowhere, because it didn't exist. And where was it a few years ago? But if you do want to blame anyone, if you don't like the direction Star Wars went, there's only one person you can blame, and it's not Kathleen Kennedy. I don't give a damn how much Buttlicker McMorningwood says. The only person to blame is George Lucas. If he wanted more control of his movies, he shouldn't have sold the damn franchise. And his biggest mistake, as far as I'm concerned, his biggest 3 mistakes. All right, I think I got all 3 fingers in there. Was in the 90s, if he had even planned on making more movies that took the story further, he should have done the sequels then. Why the hell he felt it necessary to go back and tell a story that the fans already knew pretty much the majority of, and was nothing more than episode 1, Phantom Menace, was just a bad lesson on financial and political maneuvers. That's all it was. It was boring as hell. The second movie tried to pick the action up, but oh god. And the only good part of the whole thing was the one part I was waiting for. The one segment. So I sat through over going on 6 hours of boring shit to get to Revenge of the Sith, the final battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin, and the rise of Darth Vader and the Empire. That's all I cared about. I didn't give a shit about anything that happened before that. And Mama Panda Bear now died at birth. Yeah, that kind of kills the whole line Leia gave in Return of the Jedi about remembering her mother. Unless she has infant memory. Yeah. But I did not like the Star Wars prequels at all. At all. At all. Jar Jar Binks, and here's one thing I want to reiterate. It's not the actor's fault. A lot of people attacked Ahmed Best, like the guy who did the voice of Jar Jar, to the point this guy was suicidal. He didn't write the character. He collected a paycheck for doing what he was told. It's not his fault the character sucked. It's not his fault the character was useless. And it's not his fault that it was just a major character that turned out to be nothing more than comic relief. He had nothing to do with that. That's not his fault, and people should stop attacking him for it. He did a job. He got paid. Now, so yeah, I watched Rise of Skywalker. I liked it. Matter of fact, I'm bouncing between a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10 because it was that well done. The fact they put it all together so well after the damage of Last Jedi. Also, if you're out there, oh yeah, like I said, Spyfall did a press screening earlier this week. Nobody's talking. I was expecting to see reviews up by now, even if they're non-spoiler. And the weird part is, I haven't really found Jack. Now, a lot of people obviously attended this thing. And, oh, by the way, another thing that came out this week, Lenny Henry was misquoted. It turns out that what he had said about black actors in Doctor Who was not true. That it was all a misquote from an interview. And they took it all in the wrong context and made it sound like he was attacking the show for racism. And that's not what happened. So if Lenny Henry's out there, fandom should apologize to him, especially the folks who are attacking him, because he didn't do anything wrong. He was just a victim of the mirror. And that's what I said in my video about it. Come on, folks, this is the frickin' mirror. Yeah, right. All right, hang on. Well, that's the thing. George shouldn't have done the prequels. And that's where it went wrong. I think that's why the writing came out bad. He should have realized it was a bad idea, because back in the 90s, we're talking 20-something years ago, almost 30 now. And I can't remember what year the first one came out. It's been a while. But, hang on, look. God, that car is just so beautiful. I miss it. But the thing is, he should have done it then. That's when everybody was going on, 20-something years younger. That would have been the perfect time to do your sequel movies to your trilogy. Why he decided to do the prequels when those could have been done at any goddamn time, is beyond me. But back to, all right, now someone just mentioned Star Trek Picard. I am going to watch Star Trek Picard because if you've noticed, they're leaning more back towards the prime timeline with Picard. You notice all the characters they're bringing back and all that, those are from prime timeline shows. So it seems to me that now that all the rights for Star Trek are coming back under the same roof because of the new merger with Viacom, CBS, and all that, that we might be starting to see Star Trek back to where it belongs. Like I said, I don't badmouth Discovery anymore. I don't do it online, at least, because to me it's a waste of time. I've not watched The Witcher now. Here's the thing that just astounds me. Let's edge the Doctor Who fandom into this. I did not like any Star Trek that came out since 2009. Not a damn bit of it. Because, once again, the movie machines have stumbled. They've got nothing original coming out. So what do? Let's go take another man's dream and vision and shit all over it to sell film to make money. And to me, when they put the first trailer for Discovery out, I was like, I'm not watching this. Because, for one, you've got ships in there that look like they came out of the movie era. You've got technology that's way beyond anything they would have had in that time. And as I predicted to a friend of mine, I said, watch, by the end of the second couple series, they put it right in the timeline so they could bring the Enterprise in. And sure enough, they did. They brought in the Enterprise. They brought in Talos 4. They tied in the cage. Oh, no, we just went to Talos 4 all the time like it was a goddamn vacation resort. It's like, no, there was only one ship that went to Talos 4, and then General Order was put out, never to visit again under pain of death. All right, so then they made Spock into a singing, hyped up, angry weirdo with a hippie. Made him look like a hippie with a beard. Come on. Plus, the first movie, because what's his name changed the timeline, the Vulcans boning Uhura. Oh, God. Please. But then when I saw the lens flares in the Discovery trailer, and I realized the company putting it out is nothing more than a basically holding company for frickin' Bad Robot, I knew exactly where it was going. Also, here's another thing you should be concerned about, also about Discovery. I never watched an episode of it, not going to watch an episode of it, but you don't see me online doing hashtag not my Star Trek, hashtag what's his nut sucks, or the Sasha from The Walking Dead on there, hashtag not my hero, blah, blah. I don't do any of that shit. If I don't like it, I just say I don't like it, and I don't have to harp on about it in 50 videos to make money. Like Narcotic and his little buddy Limp Sock and all the rest of those guys, and Balls, Trek, and all the rest of them. Now, okay, I have watched pretty much every online Star Trek there is. I've watched Phase 2, New Voyages. I've watched Star Trek Continues. I've watched Farragut. I've watched, Starship Exeter. Name it, I've probably watched it. And a lot of them are really, really good. The one that took the taco, of course, was Axanar, because it was so damn good, Paramount had to shut it down. Oh, yeah, those guys were okay. The guys who played, great. Carl Urban, who played McCoy, did a really good job. I'll give him that. But I watched in the movie sense, I watched Star Trek, I watched Into Arsonist, and I never bothered to watch Beyond. I lost all interest after the Into Arsonist. I just had no interest in watching it anymore. But to tie this back into Doctor Who, like I said, you don't see me out there going hashtag not my Trek, hashtag not this, and making hundreds and hundreds of videos about how it's been ruined and all that just to make money. That simple. Okay, some folks. All right, someone asked about The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is phenomenal. It really took my breath away. Jon Favreau has really knocked it out of the park. He's taken us into another aspect of the Star Wars universe that you never really see. Now, for you folks who aren't unsure or a little bit unsure of what's going on, for one, that can't be Yoda, or can't be Baby Yoda. We've been calling him that because these movies take place like 3 to 5 years after Return of the Jedi. Now, we do know the Empire played around with cloning programs and stuff like that. And at the time of The Mandalorian, you have to think, the only 2 Force users that are known of in that time period are Luke and Leia Skywalker, which gives the opposition an edge, which means the remnant of the Imperial Empire might have been playing around with Yoda's DNA. How they got a hold of it, we don't know, to try to create their own Force user. Or maybe it was an early program to see if the cloning of Palpatine was possible. We don't know. Yeah, Palpatine, in every book and in every story you read, he was one shrewd dude. He knew how to play the long game. And so it's not unbelievable. Okay, so Mandalorian, really well done. I, really enjoyed it. I've seen maybe a few here and there. I've watched Doctor Who. I've watched Doctor Who Velocity and 1 or 2 others. Like I said, normally I'm at work. I don't have a whole lot of time to sit down and watch a lot of fan films anymore. But yeah, Mandalorian's really, really good. I agree with you on that. I really enjoy that show. Well, folks, I got to stumble back in here in a minute because they should be getting the car done here in a little while. But I figured I'd drop in on you and tell you some things. Like I said, we've not heard anything from the Spy Fall premiere yet. The press screening was earlier this week. You've probably seen the photos drifting around because pretty much everybody was there, including Lenny Henry. I don't know why they haven't expanded the Doctor Who universe. Like I said, it seemed to me like Class was a deliberate attempt to put one out there and shoot it down. So that way they can say, well, we tried to give you a spin-off, but you didn't like it. That's what it seemed like they did with Class to me. It was just put out there as an example to say, oh, look, we tried and you didn't like it. Well, truthfully, Class kind of sucked. I'm not going to lie. It really did. The thing was, there were so many opportunities. Even Russell T. Davies will freely admit now that he regretted he shouldn't have shut down Sarah Jane Adventures, that he should have kept going, to honor Liz Sladen. But he was so crushed at the time, he just couldn't see going on without her. There were so many other companions out there who are still alive who'd love to come back on the show or even do a set of spinoffs, but BBC just seems not interested. Because as I've reported to you before, Torchwood, no, well, I'm talking Will, but that's back in the RTD era. I was talking about Moffat era. Torchwood was awesome. So was Sarah Jane Adventures. Now the problem with the thing that went wrong with Torchwood was 2 words: Miracle Day. Miracle Day was horrible. Yeah, like I said, it just seems to me, and like I said, I can't prove it, that they sat down sometime along the line with the guys in charge of Big Finish. There was a top secret handshake deal. Say, look, we keep this section of the Doctor universe. You can have that one. And because if the Sarah Jane Adventures had gone on, I know I've gone on about this because it's kind of sad that Liz Sladen passed away. But when she did, there were plans on the drawing board to bring back Ace. There were plans on the drawing board to bring back the 4th and 7th Doctor onto the Sarah Jane Adventures. And sadly, that all went to pot, when Liz Sladen passed away. But it would have really been really good to me if they had Ace step in and take things over on the Sarah Jane Adventures. I don't really do a lot of Star Trek or Doctor Who novel reading anymore. I mainly listen to Big Finish when I'm at work, and if I don't have that, I'll put in a good novel. Well, folks, I know I've been ranting on a bit, so I'm going to get on here. So please take care of yourselves. Have a good one. I'm getting in because my hands are starting to go numb. It is getting cold out here. So see you on the flip side, kids. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.